Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Dur Red. This is their part number 9-inch pressure intensifier lift springs set of two, no brackets included. So when you purchase this, we're going to send you 2 of these. That's exactly what we're going to send you. Nothing more, nothing less. Hopefully nothing less. Dur Red, you've got shocks, lifting mechanisms, pressure intensifiers, assists, whatever they're called. Dur Red calls them pressure intensifiers. You can buy these in different sizes. I know of 9-inch, and this is a 9-inch. I know of 15-inch as well when you're dealing with larger units. You can buy them as single springs. You can buy them as sets of 2. If you've got like a 30 by 36, a 36 by 36, you might have 2 on there. You can buy them without brackets as a single. You can buy them with brackets as a single, without brackets as a set of 2, and then without and with brackets as a set of 2. This is specifically without brackets. Why would you need them? Why would you not need the brackets? Well, because they're already in place. The sidewall bracket is welded to the sidewall, so you probably, if you're replacing the lifting mechanisms, you shouldn't need a sidewall bracket unless it's been cut off, which I've certainly seen in the past. I can only imagine someone may be repurposing the hardware to a different roof hatch. The bracket and the upper lid, that can be missing. I've seen those missing, and in that case, you're just going to order it with the brackets, certainly. The purpose of this video is to provide visual and dimensional evidence of the item so that you can determine if this is the proper match for the hardware that you're looking for. So this is what you're going to get. Dur Red calls this a 9-inch, and when you ask Dur Red why they call it 9-inch, and they'll say that's because of the size. So fair enough. We will discover the size of all of this, and let's just start with this now. We're going to take all of this apart. There's a washer. There's 2 washers. We're going to use a paper towel on this spring because it is greasy for sure. That will be everywhere. So 2 tubes, they telescope. 2 washers, we'll figure out what that's for, and then that spring. So the upper tube, here comes the dimensional properties. This is where the 9-inch comes into play. They really measure 9 1/4. It's because that spring doesn't fit all the way to the end. 9 1/4. We're also going to measure the outside diameter of this tube. And it's made of steel. Be mindful of that. Okay. The outside dimension of the tube itself, 1.526 outside dimension. The length of the lower tube, again 9 1/4. The outside diameter of the lower tube, 1.38 inch. Those 2 fender washers, and that's what they are. I would expect that they're going to be 3/8 fender washers. You'll notice you've got holes in your tubes. Both of them have that. You're going to drop that down there and then just get that seated. That's obviously what your spring is going to push against. Okay, that's how that's going to work. Then, that washer has an outside dimension of 1.254 outside dimension. Let's take a look at that spring. Very common question that we get is what's the size of the spring? And that's because a customer usually can get their hands on the spring. Everything's taken apart and they've got a spring in their hand. Well, the overall length of the spring, that's 16 and a half. Okay? 16 and a half inch overall length. This is going to have an outside diameter of 1.175 outside dimension. It's going to have a coil diameter, measuring it this way naturally, 0.178 diameter of the coil. Okay, so if you are looking at this, you very likely are trying to figure out what you need and what you have, and then therefore what you need. The purpose of this video is, again, to provide dimensional evidence of what this is. A very common scenario is simply someone's up on a roof and they don't have safe operating conditions on a roof hatch. And so we will get a call, as does the manufacturer, and someone will need a pressure intensifier or shock or lifting mechanism or, assist, whether it be pressure intensifiers or locks or hold open brackets or gasketing or the hinges or the padlock staple itself, handles. Where we like to start with helping you determine what you need, assuming this isn't an exact match, which is the point, is the name that would be on the sidewall. If there's a name, there may be a serial number. It also is likely there is no name, and it's completely unidentifiable by looking at any data that's on it. So at that point, while you're there, take pictures of everything. Forward all of that information to us via email. Any name, any serial number, photographs, and two other things: the composition of the lid, and then the depth and the width. Then visually, we ought to be able to identify it. We have a working knowledge of probably 5 major manufacturers of roof hatches, and we can generally identify it by sight and then at least know what manufacturer we're working with. Based on those photographs, maybe have a style or a model type, and then the depth and the width you provide us along with the composition, we can narrow into what it is that you'll need. The serial number would give us the ability to pull the bill of materials from the factory, and they'll tell us without any guesswork how that was built. And that makes life easy because now you are assured getting the right proper product. The manufacturer won't engage in conversations where there's anything that's in the unknown. None of them will, in fact. It's sometimes difficult to even get someone on the telephone necessarily in the proper department of a major manufacturer, in the parts department. They want to sell roof hatches. And it's not because they're in the roof hatch business as much as it's also, they don't engage in those conversations because their mandate is to produce safe hardware. And when they are making, even educated guesses as to what you could be, they are not really engaged in safe hardware because there's too many unknowns. When that call comes to us, because we work with multiple manufacturers based on our experience exposed to all of them, this video with dimension and visual record, we can generally get you closer than a single manufacturer can, assuming it's not theirs. And, back to the safety concept, we'll get photographs from people, and I can tell that there is a makeshift ladder involved. It's probably 18 feet off the floor, or whatever it could be, substantially higher. So getting the right material is the key. People will call, hey, I need a shock. Okay, who's the manufacturer of the roof hatch? I don't know. Or, I'm making my own. Okay, so I don't know, we get the photographs, we try to do the detective work. The making my own, that leaves us in a position to not, of course, make any recommendation because we truly lack the knowledge, the full breadth of knowledge of what it takes to engineer safely a roof hatch based on size and composition, how many lifting mechanisms will be used, what sort of compression rate will need to exist on the spring itself. So be mindful that we're not in a position to be able to tell you what you'll need. I've had a client call and say, I bought a lifting mechanism from you, and it's defective. Okay, that's strange because the lifting mechanism is a couple of pieces of steel tubes and a spring. It's hard for it to be defective. Well, the tubes physically leave each other when I get it installed. Okay, whose brand do you have? No, I made my own. Okay, well, the question, the guesswork there is, where did you position the bracket on the lid and the sidewall? What degree of opening are you trying to accomplish? This client had maybe a 40-pound lid, which is very, very light. Wanted to open to 120 degrees. Those tubes, even if they would go that far, are certainly going to leave each other. And the client needed to just think out loud how to solve that problem by maybe moving his points closer together, maybe cutting the tubes and the springs down, maybe adding a hold open bracket so that, not cutting the tubes down, but limiting the degree of the opening so that the tubes didn't leave each other. but that's purely outside of the realm of our expertise, and that's all there is to it. The people at Dur Red are stellar when it comes to supporting their product line. Photographs are the way to really know exactly what into making that. The people over there know their product intimately well. They are very eager to help. They will make recommendations based on your photographs of the other items that you see. You'll even get feedback in terms of other things that you didn't recognize might be a problem, might be incorrect, might compromise the safety and the proper operation of the unit. So Dur Red is very much a tremendous resource when it comes to the knowledge of roof hatches in general. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Dur Red products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. If you have any questions on the Dur Red, this is their 9-inch pressure intensifier, set of 2, no brackets at all. You won't get any screws, any brackets, or any other Dur Red product. Please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.